Welcome to the Standard Podcast, where we explore the past to better understand the present. I'm your host, Atiwan.
And I'm your co-host Pon. Today, we're going to delve into the topic of change and continuity during the Industrial Revolution. This period of time, which began in the late 18th century and lasted through the 19th century, dramatically shifted the way goods were produced and ultimately changed the way society operated.
That's right, Pon. The Industrial Revolution brought a massive increasing in productivity thanks to the new technology like the steam engine and the spinning jenny. But it also brought about significant change in the way people lived and worked.
Absolutely. The rise of factories and the shift towards urbanization meant that many people were leaving the countryside to work in cities. This led to a significant increase in population in urban areas, and it also led to the creation of a new working class.
And the working class were faced with challenges and hardship. Factory working conditions were frequently dangerous and grueling, and wages were low. Disease spread easily due to the low quality of life caused by unsanitary conditions such as dark and poorly ventilated rooms. Despite these facts, the Industrial Revolution brought a new opportunity for people.
That's true, Atiwan. The growth of industry led to the creation of new jobs. It increased productivity, and it also led to an increase in wealth and economic growth. It allowed for new forms of communication and transportation, helped to connect people and ideas in ways that were previously unimaginable.
The topic of increased wealth and economic growth is as interesting as the new technological change. The Industrial Revolution led to the private ownership and expanding middle class, and an increasing in monetary wealth. All of these factors forged a new economic system known as capitalism.
And capitalism had far-reaching consequences not only in cities but also in rural areas. Farmers are influenced to change their ways of thinking. They no longer produce the yields solely to support their households. Instead, they began growing foods in excess in order to sell more yields and become richer. As a result, chemical fertilizers were quickly developed to support the commercial farming.
However, it is important to note that the changes in the Industrial Revolution did not only benefit everyone equally. It also exacerbated and reinforced social and economic inequality. Women and children made up a sizable portion of the workforce, so they launched political movement calling for greater equality in women's right to vote and higher wages, and also the abolition of child labor.
That's a great point, Atiwan. The Industrial Revolution brought about both change and continuity. On one hand, it brought about new technologies and ways of doing things. But on the other hand, it reinforced and perpetuated existing social and economic inequalities.
We have already put a lot of emphasis on social and political change. Let's look at the big picture. During the industrialization period, Great Britain has the world's largest empire. This enabled them to exploit natural resources, primarily coal, iron, gasoline, not only the British Isles, but also in its colony around the world. These fossil fuels are a significant contributor to climate change.
Absolutely. The most well-known example of the revolution's direct effects on climate change was the Great Smog of London. It was essentially a severe air pollution incident happened in 1952. It lasted 4 days and killed over 4,000 people.
And while the Industrial Revolution brought about a lot of change, there were also elements of continuity. Pon, can you please give an example of that?
Sure. One example of continuity during the Industrial Revolution was the continued use of the factory system. Even though the factory system had been around since the 18th century, it was improved and expanded upon during the Industrial Revolution. This allowed for the mass production of goods, which in turn led to lower prices of products like cotton and increased access to goods for consumers.
That's a great example, Pon. And it's also important to remember that while the Industrial Revolution brought about a lot of change, it wasn't a complete break from the past. The factory system, for instance, built upon existing system and technology.
You're right. Communication technology, such as the telegram, was built on the assumption that people still spread ideas in the same way they did during the scientific revolution. We still believe that Enlightenment principles could improve our lives and make us more content.
Absolutely. The Industrial Revolution brought numerous political reform and changes in belief. But England's government system remained a constitutional monarchy. Furthermore, the British Navy remained powerful throughout the 19th century until the mid-20th century, when the world power shifted to the United States of America.
Right. That's why it's important to look at the Industrial Revolution, not just as a time of change, but also a time of continuity. It's a complex period of time in history that can't be fully understood without considering both the changes and the continuities that took place.
And that concludes our podcast on the Standard Podcast on change and continuity in the Industrial Revolution. Thanks for listening. Join us next time for more historical discussion.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Standard Podcast.
Same time, same day, 11 p.m. See you.
Thank you.